Adab of the majlis is we have the elders but because of the fact that we want to speak directly to the youngsters, this is the new generation, these are the people that are going to do something significant, inshallah. So we want them. You young fellows, come up close. Come here, come here close. Yeah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa salatu salam ala Sayyidil Mursaleen wa ala alihi wa sahabiri ajma'in, amma ba'd. So my name is Hashim Ahmad, and I'm originally from California, and I didn't grow up like most of you grew up. Because you grew up, you all probably heard the adhan and you saw salat and you read Quran, right? Suppose you never saw that. Suppose you never heard the name Allah. Suppose you never saw the Quran. Suppose you never heard the adhan. What would your life be like? Think about that. Very different. Huh? And if you had grown up in an environment where you didn't hear about Allah, you didn't have the Quran, you didn't hear the adhan, you didn't see salat, so you would be like the rest of the people, or most of the people that you see in the world today. They grew up seeing things, so they believe that things do things. They see that money buys, and with that things that they buy, they build. And so the belief and the attention and the objective of life becomes all the things that we see in front of us. Like our shop, our business, our strength, our political power, whatever people are into. But because we're Muslims, we have a different perspective, or we should have a different perspective in life. So I would like to ask, and this is a question that I used to ask myself before I became a Muslim. So I'm going to ask you that question, and I would like our youngsters to answer me. If I were to ask you, what's your purpose of life? What would you tell me? Yeah, what's your purpose of life?
My purpose in life, to me, is to make everybody happy.
Oh.
And to satisfy myself.
And yourself included?
Yeah. I want to be well known.
You want to be well known?
I want to be iconic.
Yeah, okay, that's good. That's great.
And I want to benefit the world while doing it.
Wow. I told you, these are the guys. They're going to do something. Old people, inshallah. This guy says, I want to be iconic. I want to impress the world.
I want to prove points that other people like me will not be able to bring up.
Okay, that's pretty awesome. Wonderful.
During summer camp, I gave other people money. One of the kids there had no food. I gave him some of mine.
MashaAllah. Okay, let's hear from other guys now. MashaAllah. What's your name? What's your name, young fella?
My name is Saddam Musa.
Saddam Musa.
Saddam Musa.
Saddam Musa, MashaAllah. Okay, yeah. Okay, enough. Okay, let the other fellow say, yeah.
My purpose of life is to pray to Allah and show Him that I love Him.
Wow. MashaAllah. Okay, let's hear some little bit older youngsters. Yeah, you.
To serve Allah. To serve Allah.
To serve Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Wow. That's wonderful. Let's hear some more elder fellows. Like this fellow, he was ready to. Yeah, what's your purpose?
Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran that He did not create mankind, nor
Can you read that
jinkind.
ayat for us? In Arabic?
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وما خلقت الجن والإنس إلا ليعبدون.
إلا ليعبدون. Wow. Okay, I'll tell you the story. Wonderful. Okay, so to find this out, in 1970, actually before Islam, I was a professional musician. Do you believe that?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I used to travel around the world playing music to people and entertaining people, when I was a small kid like you. Of course, I didn't have I also had a lot of aspiration like you, but it was different. However, by the time I was around 16, 17, 18 years old, so I started thinking that what they call the American dream, have you ever heard of this one called the American dream? You come to America and, you start from scratch and you make some money and you buy a house in suburbia and then you're supposed to live happily ever after. The problem is that's not what happens. You don't live happily ever after because actually you have to buy the house on mortgage and then you have to work 2 jobs and then your wife has to work and then if you get disability, if you get, disabled, then the whole thing gets, jammed up and it becomes a nightmare. So when I was a young man and then growing up, in the show business industry where people think that, if you're a celebrity and you're a big entertainer and you're popular over the world, that you must be living an awesome life. You must be very happy. Huh? Well, there was a very famous group in those days. They were called the Rolling Stones. You've probably heard of them, right? They were contemporaries of ours. Yeah. So I grew up with these guys. So they had a famous song that was called Satisfaction. But it wasn't mean like they had satisfaction. It was about, we can't get no satisfaction. That was the song. The whole song was just like a mantra. I can't get no satisfaction. I can't get no. I try, and I try, but I can't get no satisfaction. Wait a minute. Aren't you world famous? Yeah. You have your private Learjet, you fly around the world? Yeah, I got that too. Don't you have villas and these mansions all over the world and you have everything you want, everything that money buys? Yeah. So you mean you don't have satisfaction? Not at all. I can't get any satisfaction. I'll tell you another story. So this is after I'm a Muslim and I was working in Pakistan. I used to teach in Pakistan. So I had a friend of mine and he was a big exporter of cloth, manufacturer and exporter of cloth. So he used to entertain various clients who would come to Pakistan to buy bulk cloth. So this fellow came from America one time, and so my friend called me up and said, look, there's this American guy, he's come to America, one of my big clients, he buys cloth by the millions of yards, big time, right? So we want to talk to him about Islam. I said, okay, fine. So we went to meet the fellow, and there was the Metropole or Marriott Hotel, one of these 5-star hotels, and we were meeting him on breakfast. So the place was packed, all the tables were full, and so this fellow was telling us on breakfast, telling us about his life. He was a really nice guy, humble guy. I mean, he wasn't like being arrogant or anything, but he was just telling us. He said, well, look, whatever money can buy, I have that. There's nothing left that, money can get you that I don't have already. He's talking about his house and then his swimming pool and his tennis court and his this and that. He said, I have all these things. But I'm lonely. Nobody's living in that house with him. He's living out there by himself. And then he said the most amazing thing. Just listen. Now it's time to listen. You talk, now it's time to listen carefully. Okay? Yeah. So he said, I know there's a God, but I just don't know how to talk to him. Think about that. He said, I know there's a God, but I don't know how to talk to him. And he started to cry. I mean, in front of all the people, and he was just lost control of himself, and he was crying so hard. It was like a small child that lost his mother. So these things which we think our happiness, our success lies in, it's nonsense. It's a nightmare. The American dream. One of the comedians back in the 1960s, he says, you know why they called it? They call it the American dream. Because you have to be sleeping to believe it. Now, when you wake up, you find out it's not like that. Now, this is quite some time ago. Now we are living in 2025, and we see this country disintegrating in front of our eyes. I've been on the planet probably longer than most people here. There might be somebody as old as I am, but I've never seen in my lifetime anything like what I see today. What's going on in the government, what's going on in Gaza, what's going on in the world, and it's just openly, you see, falling apart. Where's the solution? Where's the solution? The blind leading the blind. We think, well, let's elect so-and-so and our problems will be solved, or let's pass a law. And it's very interesting. Did you know that there is a mass killing, not one, but multiple mass killings daily in this country? Some you hear about, many of them you don't hear about. Why? Someone randomly just losing it and going and killing people. He doesn't have a political agenda, he's just lost it. There's no truth. There's no sincerity. Open tyranny, we just become a fascist state here in the United States. Right? Why? Because people don't know that ayat. They don't know that. After I became a Muslim and I came back to America, this is in 1972, I suppose. So I visited my relatives. I was born in Cleveland, Ohio. So I went back from California to Cleveland to talk to my relatives about Islam. Now, at that point of time, my cousins were all students in Harvard. They're all geniuses and they're all very intelligent. And so I asked them all this question: what's your purpose of life? I don't know. The fact that you can say that is extremely significant. Because the Western education at its pinnacle, Harvard University, it's pretty well known, right? It's supposed to be like top of the line, of the Western, of the secular form of education. So what is that education after all? What are they teaching you? You have to perform, top of the line in your elementary school, then middle school, then high school, and then to get into Harvard, right? So you had the best of the Western education, and the sum total of what you achieve out of that is, what's your purpose of life? I don't know. Is that an education? So what are they teaching you? They're teaching you how to be a gear in the machine of society. How to make money for the other guy. That's basically what it boils down to. How to be a gear in the commercial, material, capitalist machine. Don't ask questions about who you are, where you came from, what's your purpose of life, what's going to happen after death. Just keep on the grind. Just keep doing what you've been told to do. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has created human beings, has not left them without an agenda, without a purpose. And so He has said to us, this is this young man said, and you're very lucky to know this, because my poor cousins, and they had no clue of it, and they went through the best of the best education that the West has to offer, and they still had no clue as to what is their purpose in this world. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَا خَلَقْتُ الْجِنَّ وَالْإِنسَ إِلَّا لِيَعْبُدُونَ. So basically, in Arabic language, we have what we call an istithna, nafi wa istithna. In other words, there is no purpose for creating of man except one. It's not like 2, 3, or you've got a multiple choice here. There's one answer: true, false. That's it. You get it right or you don't get it. And that is that purpose for which we've been created is ya'budun. And we have to understand what this means. Usually they translate, we haven't been created the jinn and the men except for my worship. Right? Usually that's what it doesn't really tell us much. So what does that mean? Worship, what is that? Ya'budun, this is a verb. It's action. It's not some philosophical, concept. It is about action. And it's an action that is going on now and continues all the time. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I have not created the jinn and the men except to act like my slaves all the time. To be in total attention to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and identify what my master wants from me and now act accordingly. All the time. In the diaries here in America, it usually goes from 8 to 5. Have you seen that? Sometimes 9 to 6, 8 to 5. So in other words, your life that matters is from 8 to 5. Before 8, doesn't matter. After 5, it doesn't matter. Our life doesn't start from 8 to 5. Our life starts when we wake up in the morning until we go to sleep at night. And every action that we're doing is supposed to be aligned with that purpose. Servitude of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. When we eat, we say what? Bismillah. What do we mean to say by that? In the name of Allah, who has given us this food and gave us the order to eat. We're not just eating because, I feel like it, because it's the order of Allah. Kulu washrabu wa la tusrifu. Eat, drink, but don't be extravagant. We as human beings, by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's engineering, we require fuel to live a life of servitude. That's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's nizam. If you want, we could live on air, we could live on grass, we could live on without anything like the angels. Just say subhanallah and we would carry on. But that's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's system. So He has given us the order to eat and drink, but don't be wasteful, don't be extravagant. And also, He has given some other criteria. Kulu mimma fil ardi halalan tayyiba. Eat from that which is in the earth, which is halal, and it's tayyib. So what does that mean, tayyib? Good. So what does that mean, good? Good, wholesome, pure, beneficial. It also is tasty. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, So does that mean we eat junk? We fill our stomachs full of useless things which are going to cause health problems and issues, which is what most we're eating these days. Or when you buy a brand new car, do you put good fuel in it, or you just throw any kind of second, third grade petrol? You put good fuel in it, right? And if you put bad, corrupted, what's going to happen? It's going to get ruined. So similarly, everything that we do, there's some order of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's a way of Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam to do it. There's etiquettes involved. So this is the way of life that a Muslim is supposed to live. And this is how he does business. And this is how he does agriculture. And this is how he raises his family. This is how he runs the country. This is how he judges between the people, knowing that he has a creator who is watching him and has given him orders regarding all of those activities. And this human being is aware of the fact that when I leave this world, I'm going to have to answer for every single thing that I did, for every word that I said. I was once in Trinidad. We were talking about your imam is from Guyana. No? A young man is from Guyana. So once I was in Trinidad, and I was in a store, and they happened to have, when I was buying something from that store, the television in the shop was having a news channel from CNN was coming from New York City. And so the announcer on the show, he says, "Did you know that in New York City, a car is stolen every minute?" Did you know that? You guys live in New York City. This was like, what, about 20, 30 years ago. Every minute a car is being stolen in New York City. I said, "Did you hear that?" I said to the store owner, "Did you hear that? Every minute." And so, you know, the Trinidadians, they have their own kind of interesting accent. "Yeah, man, that really bad." You know? "Yeah, really bad." I said, "Yeah, for sure." You know, I said, "Tell me something." So I was asking him, "Look, you know, if these guys stealing all these cars, suppose they look around and they see the police are watching them, are they going to steal the car then?" "No, man, they're not going to steal that car." I said, "Yeah, well, suppose if we all thought that God is watching us and he's looking over us and he's observing everything that we did, if you have people with that kind of consciousness, are they going to be stealing cars? Are they going to be selling drugs? Are they going to be committing crime? Are they going to be doing injustice to other people? No. They're going to be living a life of obedience, which means it's good for them, it's good for society, it's good for everyone. And if they don't have that consciousness, there's nothing to stop this human being from being the worst beast on the planet. لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created the man to have the propensity, the possibility of being the best of creation. It doesn't mean you're a man and you're a human being and you're the best. You know, it's just like the Jewish community. We're the chosen people. So therefore we do whatever we want and we say whatever we want and it's fine. Wait a minute, hang on, wait a minute. If you're chosen for something, right? So we also believe that, yes. The people of the Bani Israel were chosen to be the Muslims of the time and to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and show that life of obedience to others. That's what you were chosen to do. As long as you were doing that, you remain chosen. Just like I hire you for a portfolio and you're following the instructions of your portfolio, you keep the job. You say, "I'm not, you know, it's my job, I do what I want." No, you're going to get fired. Right? So, if you have people that believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they believe in the day of judgment, they believe that they're being observed, they believe that they are supposed to be living a life of servitude and equity, it's good for everybody. Everybody benefits. The planet benefits. Right? Has anybody been to the ocean recently? We have, you know, we've destroyed the earth almost, you know, and we polluted the skies, and now we're polluting the ocean so badly that we've got islands of plastic floating around out there in the ocean. Now, when you're eating fish, you think fish is a good, healthy thing to eat, but you know what's happening now? There's so much plastic in the ocean that these fish are full of these nanoparticles of plastic which we're eating, and we're turning into plastic. ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر بما كسبت أيدي الناس. So when human beings become corrupted, everything gets corrupted. The air gets corrupted, the earth gets corrupted, the sea gets corrupted, society is corrupted. And when the human being is aligned with his purpose, then he's beneficial, and that benefit, you know, it radiates out to everyone. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the human being with this propensity, this ability, this capacity to be the best of creation. But it has a criteria. The criteria is that we follow the purpose for which we've been created for. We understand that and we become knowledgeable about that. Knowledge in Islam is for what purpose? Knowledge in Islam is not to get a job. No harm in getting a job or even getting knowledge that will help you to get a job. But that's not the purpose. The purpose of knowledge in Islam is to know how to live that life of servitude. And among the things that we have to do in life is earn a living. So there's also rules and regulations regarding that. Buying and selling, renting, investment, agriculture, all the various means in which we live, the various types of careers and occupations that we engage in. They have guidelines from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and Nabi has also elucidated upon that. So if we follow all of that, then we benefit, our families benefit, the society benefits, the planet benefits, everything benefits. And if we don't, ثُمَّ رَدَدْنَاهُ أَسْفَلَ السَّافِلِينَ, we become a means of destruction and corruption, not only in ourselves, but to the entire universe. That's where we stand today. We are on the brink of total destruction. Everything is falling apart. Society is falling apart. Families are falling apart. Is it or not? Structures are falling apart. Justice is gone. Truth is totally evaporated from society. How are these values and these ethics and real human life going to come back into the world? The only way that can possibly happen is when Muslims who understand their purpose of life, have learned that purpose of life, demonstrate this to the rest of humanity. Right? Umar ibn al-Khattab radiallahu ta'ala anhu, when he, like we have this inaugural address, like in our political, theater that we have. So obviously the newly elected president or mayor or whoever, whatever, they give an address and whatever. So also the Khulafa, beginning with Sayyidina Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Halim Mujarra, and continue onward, they would address the public after taking the reins of Khilafah. So Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, when he became the Khalifa, so he addresses the people. And he tells them that upon you, incumbent upon you is to obey me as long as I am ordering you with the book of Allah and the sunnah of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In other words, if I order you to do what Allah wants you to do, you are to obey me. And if I'm ordering you otherwise, then you are to correct me. Have you ever heard a politician in America saying that? Or anywhere for that matter. Leave America, go to any of our quote-unquote Muslim countries. So one Bedouin, he was sitting right nearby. He pulled out his sword. He said, "Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, if we see you going off the track, we'll straighten you up with this." Can you imagine that? In the inaugural address in the United States, the president is giving it, and some fellow pulls out a pistol and says, "Yeah, you keep in line or they will..." This fellow would have 20,000 bullet holes in his, So now this fellow is like, that's a pretty threatening gesture, right? Pulls out his sword and says, "Well, straighten with this." So you would imagine Umar would say, "Hey, get the guy and, lock him up or take his head off." Or what. Umar radiallahu ta'ala raises his hands and says, "Alhamdulillah." He says, "Alhamdulillah that I have in my constituency those who will straighten me out when I've gone astray." This is called justice. And this is Umar radiallahu ta'ala from day one until he left this world. That's how he ruled. Therefore, he used to sleep under the tree. An emissary came from Persia looking for Umar ibn al-Khattab, Amir al-Mu'mineen. He thought he was going to be like Kisra in a palace and on a throne and with a lot of guards and security. And so he came to Medina. He said, "Where is your Amir al-Mu'mineen, Umar?" So there he is over there sleeping under the tree. What? Sleep under the tree? Are you kidding? So this fellow, he was, he's the ambassador to the Kisra, so you can't be an idiot. The guy's got to be pretty smart, have that kind of a job. So he looks at Umar and he says, okay, I get it. Adalta fastarahta. You have, established justice, therefore you're sleeping quite at peace. Why do we need, it's very interesting. When you come here to America, you're coming from a foreign country. Like when you're coming from Dubai, you have to go through all this huge security. We haven't even gotten here yet. You got to go through all this. They're so paranoid that somebody's going to do something. So why are you so paranoid? Why are you worried that somebody's going to, do something to you? Did you do something to somebody? Have you not been bullying the world, for the past how many decades? No, if we would have been going around the world actually really like we're supposed to be doing, and what our Constitution and Bill of Rights and all that says, we're supposed to be actually going around the world helping people to, live a life of justice and freedom and all of that. If we had been doing that, we wouldn't have anything to worry about. The world would love us. They don't love us now, do they? We're the lowest ranking that we've been in our history. So what do? Say, well, قدر الله ما شاء فعل. Or do we do something?
Yes, we do something. I bet I could do a better job.
I bet you could too. Yeah? Now, how we'll do a better job? So we Muslims have to understand who we are. We are not, we're not just some part of the scenery or just part of the woodwork. We are the ummah that is supposed to guide the rest of humanity. وَلَكَذَلِكَ جَعَلْنَاكُمْ أُمَّةً وَسَطًا لِتَكُونُوا شُهَدَاءَ عَلَى النَّاسِ. You have been made the best ummah, the moderate ummah. It's wasat. It has two basic, main meanings. One is wasat between al-ifrat wa tafrit. In other words, the medium, a balanced ummah. You're not extremist to this side, and you're not extremist to that side. You have moderation. You're balanced. And in doing so, you are the best of nations. أُخْرِجَتْ لِلنَّاسِ. You've been sent out for the benefit of mankind. Our Prophet ﷺ was sent what? To give mankind trouble, to give them, to punish people, to destroy people, to wreck society, wreak havoc. He was sent as a mercy, rahmah lil alameen. وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. He's been sent as a mercy. This ummah is supposed to be a mercy to mankind. A mercy to New York, a mercy to the United States, a mercy to North America, South America, to the world. And that will happen when we Muslims understand our objective, we learn how to live that life, and we also learn that we are not followers, we are leaders. We're supposed to be leading mankind. They don't know how to tell the truth. We're supposed to show them how to tell the truth. They don't know how to be honest. We're supposed to show them what is honesty. They don't know what is generosity. We're supposed to show them generosity. They don't know what is courage. We're supposed to be showing them courage, etc., etc., etc. Right? So, who's going to do that? We have to do that. So I want all of you young kids, to make an intention. Just like my young friend here, I'm going to be an icon. Why? Because people should call you something. People now love you, they hate you. What difference does it make? Do the people have paradise in their hand? Can the people put you in Jannat? Can they put you in Jahannam? No. Can they make your life, even in this world, successful or unsuccessful? Who has control of all of that? Allah. So I have a saying, I say, be an influencer, don't be influenced. Kun mu'athiran, la takun muta'athiran. So are you ready to do that? How are you going to do that? Number one, we're going to have to build our iman and faith and belief on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We're going to have to learn how to live that life in total. Okay? So we make that intention. And it's not just the kids, by the way, everybody. However age group we might be, whatever our occupation or career might be, fard ayn on every Muslim. Talab al-ilm farida ala kulli Muslim. To seek knowledge is compulsory for every Muslim. What knowledge? The knowledge of how to live a life of servitude. We call this ilm al-hal. What I need to do as a human being. Not only my worship. If I'm in business, how do I buy? How do I sell? What are the rules? What are contracts? Etc., etc., etc. Whatever I'm going to engage in, I have to understand how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants me to engage in that activity. With what intention do I engage in that activity? And what laws of Sharia govern how I act and behave in that particular activity? And then I have to be a role model for others. Display that. You don't have to go out there and, do a lot. You have to just be a Muslim. Wherever you are, however you are. That's the greatest of da'wat. The greatest of da'wat is to lead by example. So all of you guys are ready for that? Inshallah ta'ala. So this is a lifelong. In Tablighi Jamaat, they come and they say, we want 3 days, 4 months. No, I want lifetime. A lifetime of intention to serve and know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's order, learn that system of obedience, and then practice that system of obedience, and then carry it to everyone else. Are we going to do that, kids? And those who are bigger kids like me, inshallah, all of us, inshallah, will make that intention. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it happen. And it begins with an intention. But simply an intention is not sufficient. Intention has to be connected with action. So may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us tawfiq to live a life of seeking and applying. Ameen thumma ameen. Any questions? Pretty clear? Ready to go for it, inshallah? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it possible. Ameen. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Adada khalqihi wa rida an nafsi wa zinata arshi midad kalimati. Allahumma la nursi thana'an alayka anta kama athnita ala nafsik. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barik ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad. كما صليت وسلمت وباركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. اللهم ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. لا إله إلا أنت سبحانك إنا كنا من الظالمين. اللهم اهدنا واهد بنا واجعلنا سببا لمن اهتدى. اللهم اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم من النبيين والصديقين والشهداء والصالحين وحسن أولئك رفيقا. اللهم ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم إنا نسألك خير ما سألك منه نبيك سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم ونعوذ بك من شر ما استعاذك منه نبيك سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وأنت المستعان وعليك البلاغ ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.